Hello everyone, welcome to episode 13 of the Blank Canvas podcast. I'm Jennifer Noir.
And I'm Mina West.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is a podcast led by two creators who promise to just have loads of fun. Today we are joined by fashion extraordinaire, pioneer for black women, absolute fabulous energy, Miss Deborah. Hey.
Hi guys.
So Deborah, we like to start the pod with an icebreaker game. So this week we are playing When Was the Last Time You?
Oh gosh.
So I'm going to start on Mina.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Mina, when was the last time you felt physical attraction?
I was
It can be to the same sex. We don't mind, girl.
I feel physical attraction but there's so many beautiful human beings. Do you mean what I've seen?
I want to rip your clothes off.
Oh. Do you mean through the gram or in face to face?
You felt excited inside.
Yeah, it's been an interesting month. Anywho, last time I wanted to rip somebody's clothes off, but felt that innate in me. You know when somebody you dislike as a person, still be messaging you sometimes. Anyway, it's gonna be it's when you dislike them, but you just want to do something to them at the same time.
Okay.
But you don't because you manage them temptations, you have them on lock.
It's kind of like a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, I actually don't like them or love them. They're attractive, innit?
Yeah.
But their mouth could be quiet. But that was a long time ago.
Really?
That's what I said on the pod, innit?
Okay, fair enough. What about you, Deborah?
I don't know. To be honest, I'm always, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm always
What's wrong with you guys?
I don't know because I'm always in work mode, so I'm really I don't have time to look at anybody.
Yeah.
Really? I'll be looking all the time on the train while I'm walking.
Okay.
I haven't felt it today, but I think I felt it maybe a day or 2 days ago. There was this really handsome guy walking down the street.
Yeah.
Fine.
No, tell a lie. I was working in Central. And you know when guys wear suits, and it's their shirts are just nice and everything, and they just look serious.
Yes, the serious look. It's why so serious? It's sexy. Okay, what's your question, Mina?
Okay, my question was, when was the last time you said no?
Oh, I say no. Oh, today. I say no all the time.
Yeah.
I was walking. Oh, good. I'm so glad I can get this off my chest on the pod. I felt so bad.
Okay.
So basically, when I'm walking and people are giving out leaflets, I'm always like, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you. I don't even listen to them.
Okay.
And then, because I don't think they should be allowed to harass me on the road. I didn't ask for it. I can't wait for GDPR to go into physical form. But anyway.
Okay.
So I was walking and this guy was giving me a leaflet. And he was like, God bless you. I was like, no, thank you, no, thank you. I was like, oh no. He said, God bless you. But at the same time, I don't want his leaflet. But I felt bad that I said no, thank you to the God bless you. So yeah, that was me. That's my story.
I'm no thanks for the leaflet, but thank you very much for the for the blessings. I'll take that.
I usually say before they even start talking. I usually get the no thank you before they speak, but he spoke first. It was really... He caught me.
I don't even get no thank you out. I'd just be mad busy. I'd be like, oh, I'm so busy, sorry. What about you? When was the last time you said no?
To the woman that was leaning on me on the train today.
Oh no!
I literally sat down and you know that little space where you can stand?
Yeah.
She was standing on me. She was leaning on me and I was like, no ma'am. Get your arm off my shoulder.
Why do people do that?
I don't know.
Or when you're holding the pole and they lean on the pole, you're like...
Or they grab your hand as an I'm just no, let go. Thanks. That's the first time I said no today.
Honestly. What about you now?
Oh, I felt like that would be a hard question. I'm really hard at saying no to people.
What, you?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I don't... Because I was trying to think, when was the last time I said no? And I don't remember.
You must have said no to somebody.
I definitely do say no, but I'm trying to think, when I last...
You thought of the question. You should have your answer ready.
I know, but I just thought it wouldn't... Yeah, my way my brain works.
Fair enough.
See, I just couldn't think... That's why I thought it would be a hard one. Because I can't even think of the last time I said no to somebody.
You know it would be hard for me, boy.
I know. I think I said, apologies. I can't do it. But it wasn't a no. It was I tried to do something and I couldn't do it.
Fair enough.
Oh, I said no to somebody who kept harassing me. I was like, no. And then I just blocked them.
But you know what? This is the reason why this is so difficult is because we as humans just naturally find it hard to say no. We're like such people pleasers that even like just something like this. Deborah's like, oh yeah.
Please myself. I'm joking. I know what you mean. You actually have to fight the feeling of being a people pleaser, especially British culture as well. We don't want to be impolite or hurt anyone's
exactly.
feelings.
I feel like I first tried to figure out how I could. And then when I realised I can't, like, people try to stop me for leaflets, I already see them. So in my head, I'm like, I'm already on my phone. I don't have nothing to do on my phone, but you can think I look busy, so you might just leave me alone.
No, they still come over.
They do, but I just keep walking.
Even when I say no thank you, they'll still I'm like, I said no.
I said no.
Don't harass me.
Okay.
But okay, my question. When was the last time you accidentally splurged?
Oh my god, I splurge every payday.
Me as well.
I was going to say, was it not just payday?
Every payday.
Okay, Deborah, you share. What else have you splurged?
Every payday. Every time I get paid, I pay all my bills. I pay everything I need to pay, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get my pedicure, manicure. Oh yes, I'm gonna go, mate. Like I still bite my nails. I'll still go get a manicure.
I hear you.
I'm always trying to treat myself. All the time.
We just have to treat ourselves, and I feel like I don't do that enough. I'm going away soon, like on holiday. And I was like, oh, my wardrobe's so weak. So I bought some things, but I didn't like it. So I went to return it. Yeah. Please tell me why I went to return one item and came up with 5.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
That wasn't the plan.
That's how it goes.
What was the last time you splurged?
All the time. Do you know what? I usually splurge on food.
Oh, yeah, I do that.
Yes. I think I spend more than the average person on food. I went into Tesco's this morning to buy a sandwich. Why did I spend £20?
What? Okay.
I was like...
Well,
I came in here for a sandwich because I was really hungry before I come to record. And
do you have Monzo?
I do have Monzo.
So Monzo breaks down how much money you spend every month, and it tells me every month how much I spend on food, like going out. And every month I spend between £200 and £250 eating out. Even though I've already done my food shop. So
I guess not mine is.
I don't want to know mine.
Not mine is.
It's so bad. I wish I didn't enjoy food so much. It just tastes so good.
Like yesterday, I was meant to cook at home. Well, I did cook at home, but it's like I really want to order Indian. Like I don't really want to cook what I'm about to cook. Like I'll just kind of cook like a roast or something like that. But I was like, I don't want that. I just want like chicken tikka masala. Like it's what I really want with some Peshwari naan bread. Ugh. But I contained myself because I splurged the day before and I felt guilty.
That's good.
No.
Oh, you're good.
It's more because I'm going on holiday next weekend and I don't know how I'm paying for half the things. We were like looking we're like, what are we doing? And I'm like, I purposely got all inclusive so I don't have to think about this.
That's very smart.
But then because we're going with a big group, we're like, I've been before, I'm like, we should go to this hotel we should go to this restaurant because it's really nice.
What country are you going to?
Marrakesh.
Oh my god, all the picture ops, all the photo ops.
That's what I was thinking, looking forward to the crowd.
Wow.
It's going to be fun. I'm going for a friend's wedding, so it's going to be fun. Okay, my last one is, when was the last time you thought to yourself, never, ever, ever, ever again?
Oh, I thought this recently. I'm trying to remember. Oh.
Every time I splurge. I'm like,
no, mine is more situations with people. There's some people I encounter and I'm like, this is the last time we're sitting together. Who was it? Someone who kept on making negative remarks about me, but in a sly way.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what? This is the last time you'll be at a table with me, bitch.
Oh,
yeah. Enjoy this session. Have a good time insulting me. This ain't gonna happen again. So that was my never ever.
That's a good one. Do you know what? For me, I went on a date a couple of weeks ago. And it was so strange because I met him on this dating app called Hinge.
I've heard
about Hinge.
It's so good though. Hinge is really good. Like it's like people that are serious. Like obviously.
How can you tell they're serious?
Because they will have like, for example, they will have like questions on their profiles that kind of like give indicators of their personality.
Okay.
They have like, for example, how old they are, whether they want to be married or not, whether they want kids or not, if they have kids, and if they want kids, and if they want to be married or they're looking for a serious relationship. So all of that is already broken down on the profile. So you already know it's like, okay, so this person is You know, he's serious, he's looking for something serious, and if he's cute, it's even better.
Yeah.
So you comment on something, they'll like a picture or comment back, and then that opens up the chat and you start talking. So I was like talking to this guy for a couple weeks, and then like he seemed really nice, and we moved our conversation over to WhatsApp, and he just seemed really nice when we were chatting on WhatsApp. But then in his WhatsApp story, he would upload things like that were really horrible about women. Like, there was one thing that cracked me up, but I was like, wow, you're actually rude. He was like, all these independent women, they're independent, but they're broke. They're broke independent women. And I'm just like, I don't quite understand.
Sounds angry.
Yeah, like, he just seems like... so this is what I meant, like, he was really nice to talk to, but then he'd put stuff like that online.
I hate that people have
about
dual
women.
personalities. Like, be who you are.
But then I met him, we went to the cinema, and then he was late. Then he was yelling at me because I went round to a different entrance. Then we went to the film, he was talking throughout the whole film.
What film was it?
It was Us.
Not Avengers, Mina.
No, like I wouldn't make a whole section about
No,
Avengers,
we're not doing that,
but
please.
I'm allowing it because some people might have still not watched it yet. If you haven't watched it yet, I don't know what's wrong with you.
I've seen it.
I need to show you my friend's tweet. Like, she spoiled it on Twitter for everyone.
Hey.
So funny. What? But anyway, go on.
But yeah, so his like at the end of that, his energy was just so like we were talking about work, and I was like, oh my god, I've like worked so hard, like I just need a break, and this was prior to my holiday, my birthday holiday, and he's just like, oh, like you don't work hard enough, blah 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 blah, and I was like,
excuse you?
Sorry, I said,
you actually do.
Like, I was just like, I work full time, and I have 2 separate platforms that I run full time as well. So when I finish my work in my 9 to 5, I'm like on my platforms all night. And he was just like, oh, that's not a work, blah, that's not a job. And I was like, have you ever like, do you understand that there are people that work freelance on their laptops that make millions a year? Like, that is work to them. No, that's a job.
Especially with first dates, you can clearly see that this is your passion.
Yeah.
So you should be trying to woo me, regardless of what you think. Get to know me. This
You're just so draining.
So for him to say that, like,
what does he do? I'm curious.
He works in the council.
Doing what? No, I didn't do anything. Excuse me. No, for the record. Should not do anything.
Excuse me. No.
What does he do for the council?
So he, you know, like when you call in to get like something repaired in the house.
Oh, okay.
He's the guys that go. He's one of the like.
Oh, so he like repairs and stuff.
He's one of the repairs.
Maybe he feels like because his work is so manual.
I don't know, but I was like, I said to him like, your
How
negativity.
old is he?
He's my age, like 29. He's just super draining. I was like, look, I think it's best you go your way and
seriously.
I go mine. Because no.
Wow, that's horrible.
Never again.
Yeah.
Never again with him.
What about you, Mina?
I'm okay to share this. I was meant to see somebody, and I was at the venue already.
Was it a guy or a girl, just for the record?
It was a guy, and they were running late. I was really quite annoyed. I don't really care because this person, I'm never going to ever speak to them ever again in my life. They're really a never, ever again type individual. They're running late, and I didn't like where we were meant to eat. So I went somewhere else, but not too far, because I was hungry. And the person had me waiting for over 50 minutes. Huh? It was a really long
50 minutes?
I was about to literally leave.
Mina, after 30, leave. Even 20.
I know, I'm learning. The person got there, but they couldn't find me. So instead of just trying to find me, they were cussing me out on the phone, like, why are you not at the same place we told to meet? And I'm like, so you're late, but you're cussing me out.
Wow.
And then he was like, you're irritating me, and he just left. But then the next day, and this has been over a month now, he's literally messaged me every single day, apologising.
No.
Saying, I blocked them on WhatsApp, and then now I'm messaging, and I'm just like, I've blocked you, so I don't know why you keep messaging me, but...
Wait, so you blocked them on WhatsApp, so where's he messaging you?
On iMessage, because then I deleted their number, and then they got another phone, and I was just like... It's a bit stalkerish right now.
My ex used to do that.
But it was like one of the things where, like, give me a chance. I was just like, no, because I didn't want to meet you up in the first place. So that really a never, ever, ever again type situation. But then I was more annoyed at myself because I knew better. Why was I there? But anyways, you learn.
Yeah, no, don't be hard on yourself, because you were giving him a chance. You have a really good heart. So.
But I feel like I was giving them more a chance because you're like, oh, I'm a bit single right now. Let me, like, you know, like, be open. But I never thought he was the right person anyway. So I was like, regardless of me being open, I still know my own standards. And he wasn't even meeting it. And then God was like, haha, I told you. I was like, oh man. Oh. God.
All right, so this is the exhibit. This is our part of the pod where we kind of shout out really cool artists, creatives, whatever, who inspire us, who we think are amazing. Deborah's excited. So, Mina, who's your exhibit today?
My exhibit this week is ironically going to a spoken word artist. His name is called Lionheart, and he is the first poet in residency at Saatchi Gallery, which
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I was there recently.
Yeah. Well, I think he got the position like 4 weeks ago. So I think that's pretty lit. As a spoken word artist and poet, to actually have a residency in such a well-known, amazing gallery as well is pretty sick. I've been seeing him on the gram and stuff like that, doing things like workshops, and he's a very what's the word I'm trying to say? Inspirational individual who's definitely worked on his craft. He's also an architect as well, so he kind of plays that within his poetry. He's recently got kind of a talk show on BBC Radio with another artist as well, so I was like, that's pretty lit. I definitely want to go down to one of his sessions when he's reading some of his poetry. But yeah, I thought that was pretty sick.
If you're ever going, let me know. I want to go.
I will do.
Speaking of Saatchi, mine is this really Saatchi week. Mine is this really cool artist I saw at Saatchi. I went with my cousin. This is actually part of my scratch out as well later.
Okay.
But I went with my cousin, and so you know there's artists in different rooms. His room was so interesting because it was his paintings are, I feel like you have to be, I don't know, if you're not an artistic person, you'll be like, what am I looking at? But if you like art, it's like really dark, then strikes of brown, strikes of pale pink, strikes of white. It looks like towers, it looks like a city. Me and my cousin, we saw different things, but it was so strong and vibrant. And then you go into another room, and then there's a video of him speaking. And something he said that really got to me, he said, as a creative, you don't want to know what your final product is. You want it to surprise you. You just want to create, be free in it. Have a loose idea of what you think you want to get out of it, but like at the end you'll see the magic. And it's just that really touched me, because that happens all the time. Anytime I'm designing or anything I'm doing, it's like I do have a loose idea, but I'm aware that it can come out completely different, and it's kind of exciting, but it can be scary as well. So it's just, I just really liked it. And then it turned out, after snooping on the gram as I always do, he's actually, you know, Eve the rapper, her husband.
Oh, that's him.
He's her dad.
No way.
He's his dad. Sorry. Because then I saw
Wait,
him.
whose dad?
He's Eve's father-in-law.
Oh.
So, because there's a picture of Eve at Saatchi behind the painting that I actually really liked. I was like, how did...
Eve.
It was a small world. But yeah, that was interesting. Do you have a...
Yes. So obviously, doing what I do, I come across so many amazing creators. I want to give a massive shout out to my friend Urena, who runs the Cashmere app. Which is a fashion-based app where you can invest money to save to buy your favorite designer pieces. Like you can invest minimum like £50 a month to buy whatever it is that you want.
That's so smart.
She is so amazing. I want to give her this shout out because she's worked she comes from finance. As her job and banking.
When people have different industries and they bring it together.
It's nice, isn't it?
The way she's going about it's so smart, because she also, one thing I really like about her is that she's put on events and workshops on banking, on financing, on saving money, on investing for girls that work in the fashion and creative industry. So not only is she creating something that, you know, it's what many people would seem as a luxury. You know, not everyone can afford a £500 bag, babes. Yeah, sure. Like, no one's going to spend...
I don't know what that is.
Right, £900 on a pair of boots. We don't have that money. But we could have these small luxuries if we save, and we're given the knowledge on how to save and invest in ourselves. So I want to give her this massive shout out. She also worked very hard, and she gained investment as well. I think she was going for a £100,000 investment. I need to double check whether she actually got that yet. But she's worked very, very hard, and I want to use this opportunity to shed light on.
I definitely want to check her out. I know it's like the fashion. By the way,
yes, she one day
you guys gonna just chill out with me, just rest me. I'm gonna happen.
Oh, and P.S. she managed to get like Fenty Beauty on board as well as one of the products that you could save up for. So she's not just she's actually in partnership with these brands. That's absolutely inspiring.
That's really inspiring.
That's so good. All right, Deborah, so this is our area where we want to plug you. Like, could you please just tell the world the amazingness that is you.
So my name is Debora Tonet. I am the director and founder of Black Girls in Fashion, which is a platform that represents and pushes Black women and girls at the forefront of the fashion industry who work at all levels of the fashion industry. I launched last September in 2018 at London Fashion Week. I brought my team together. I literally organised everything in like one weekend and got a photographer, got my social media editors, and we hit the streets of Fashion Week, took pictures of all the amazing Black women that were there that we never get to see in mainstream media during Fashion Week. We connected and just made some amazing women who were also creative. One of them was Jennifer last season, which was pretty cool, and we've just been going ever since. We're also in the works of launching the Black Girls in Fashion Summit.
Okay.
Which will be
so excited.
one which will be running once a year in the summer, which is September is the first launch for this year. So we're gonna have talks, panel discussion and workshops. I also want to have some really fun like refreshments and like games and stuff that we can all do. I'm planning to bring on a lot of high tier fashion industry influencers and experts to come and give everybody all the juice from the horse's mouth. And I want you guys to have this amazing experience to also network with them and build your own communities as well. So there's a lot of things coming. My ultimate goal with Black Girls in Fashion, I haven't told anyone this.
Okay, wait,
so,
this is exclusive.
Yeah, this is exclusive. Just for you guys.
Exclusive.
For the Canva podcast, which is Black Girls in Fashion will ultimately be the largest collective of Black designers in the UK. So my goal is to have, it will almost be like a PR / consultancy / show space for Black designers to showcase their work, and it'll be like a showroom. So we'll have our own.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Fashion week soon. So that's my goal for Black Girls in Fashion.
Amazing.
These spaces are so needed.
Honestly,
because I feel like people get. How can I put? Obviously, when I say I'm not that into fashion because I know nothing. Like I literally put on clothes. I try to look cute. I try stuff. But when you see more and more people that who looks like you and you identify with, you can kind of connect a lot more with. And so just these spaces are so important.
Yeah,
absolutely. You people like me to be like, it just inspires you more to kind of see what we're doing.
Yeah, and what I always say, my mantra is, if it's visible, it's attainable.
It's very true.
It's been 100 years of Vogue fashion, and in 100 years we now have the very first Black editor-in-chief.
He's amazing.
Edward Enfield.
After 100 years though.
After 100 years. But had we not seen him now, we wouldn't have known that position is attainable. So let's make the next editor-in-chief a Black woman.
Yes. Amazing. Let's do it. Right. So the reason I thought Deborah would be really great for the podcast is because of how we met.
Oh yeah.
We met at Fashion Week, and Deborah was just such good energy. You could just see it from afar. I don't know what you spotted me. Really good energy.
You're good energy.
She spotted me and she was like, "Yo, I love your bag." She just started snapping me down, taking loads of pictures. And then we just got talking. It started off as a network, but I would say you're my friend now.
Yeah,
but we
absolutely.
met up and it was just like, Deborah's really good at selling herself, telling you what she does. She's very proud, very confident about what she does, which is amazing.
Thank you, that's really
so
nice.
I thought it would be so good to have you on the pod to come and just teach us and inspire us, especially when it comes to networking. Because there are so many people, because I saw that me and you are so different, because we were talking for like the first 30 minutes. Deborah was just talking about herself, naturally, because I was asking her questions.
Oh God, that sounds really bad.
No, I was asking you questions. I was so interested in what you did. Then there was a long pause, and then Deborah was like, "So Jen, what do you do? Like, talk about yourself."
You need to teach me these ways.
And it was like, it's true. I always find it like a bit, it's always a bit of a challenge knowing how to talk about myself. So I thought, we need you on here. Let's talk about networking. Let's get into it. Like, if I've Googled loads of events that are related to my field, and I've found loads that I'm interested in, I want to meet people in the field, I get into the event, I'm there on my own. Say there's a talk or a discussion, then afterwards there's room to network. What do I do? How do I go about this?
So like, what I used to do, like when I started 3 years ago doing my events, and when I started, I had no clue. I was such a rookie, and I'd just run up to people and be like at the end, like, the speakers, I'd be like, oh, hi, you know, my name is Deborah, like not prepared anything, not had any questions, don't even really know who they are. All I've known from them is what they said at that event, and that was it. So they could have been like the director of, I don't know, flipping Gucci for all I knew. I didn't know. Whatever what I learned in that moment is what I knew. So I started off like really bad, and I made loads of mistakes, and I learned from those mistakes. So the networking, you have to really prepare in advance. If there's an event that you want to go to, you research the speakers, you research the host, you research the company that's putting this event into production. And you try to, based on whatever it is that you're doing and the reason as to why you're going, you know, prepare like some questions, research the individuals, go on their LinkedIn, look at what companies they work for, look at what they do outside of their work. So like, for example, let's say there's a lot of like massive executives. There's a new one that's just released. She just launched her own beauty brand, which is kind of like Fenty Beauty. Okay. I think it's Oma Beauty or something like that. I'll have to get it and then give it to you guys.
Yeah. Okay.
And she was an executive. I think she worked in music or something, and she just launched her own new brand. But it was like over a span of like 3 years. So it's like, if you do your research via LinkedIn, you will see that people like this lady do things outside of their work. So if you're a creative and you want to go in and you're thinking, okay, I really want to go into like beauty, and I want to know how to like let's say, for example, be a PR assistant or PR intern. But if you research people like this lady, this expert, you'll see that she has things that she does outside of work, and that could give you like a foothold to be like, to go to them with something that's relevant and say like, you know, if you, for example, you get to the event, the event is gone and dusted, it's like now the networking section, and you're like, okay, I'm going to come and speak to Sharon, who has her own beauty brand, and I want to be a potential PR intern. Hi, Sharon. I know that you worked at this such and such place, and now you've launched your own brand, and it's so inspiring to me.
Impressive.
And, do you understand? And then you just like, you know, I'm also trying to get into the beauty industry. How did you go about setting out your own company?
That's so good,
You know, where did you get your information from? Who did you network with? And that already gives you a foothold because you've researched that person. You've made yourself. You're talking about you've now created a mutual ground.
Definitely.
You both have something that you both enjoy and are passionate about, and you can talk about.
Like the classic line, your network is your net worth.
Exactly.
Like you learn it more and more as you like start to your own project, especially when you're doing your own projects, because it's easy if you're part of a company, and say if you're just like standard and you don't have that much career progression, the company's going to give you those stepping stones. But when you're creating something yourself, then you need an outside support system or people to link with, people to learn with, people to collab with. And I struggle with that area so much. I'm not even going to lie. Like, I think people assume because if you're naturally like an extrovert or you talk easily, then it's easy. But I find it so weird to speak to people who I personally have never met or never know. I'm trying to always find the in, but then I'm being like, am I forcing it? Am I being fake? Will they like me? I have all these like weird preconceptions that I put onto myself, and then like pause myself from like really like creating a network. And then when you want to create stuff, it's a bit daunting because you're like, what do you even know? And that whole process alone, regardless if you have a network or not, is quite hard, as everybody knows. So,
I think the approach that you should take to networking is, you're not, you know, like for example, you gave the example of how we both met. We didn't want anything from each other initially.
I like that.
Do you understand?
Like
We're
that.
two people that have seen each other and we're like, oh my god, you're amazing, let me take a photo of you, and then we've had a conversation. Networking is getting to know people. That's what networking is. It's not, okay, there's that amazing director of whatever company that is, I want to talk to her, I want her to come and do this for me, and no, because that's not networking. That's you being selfish. That's you trying to have something that's
a good point.
Let's say, for example, you're not even qualified to have. That person is, you know, obviously worked very hard to be where they are, and we also need to learn to humble ourselves when we're networking.
I agree with you. Because with networking, even though your network is your net worth, your strongest connections are those you have a personal connection with. So I think it's important to find a personal common ground to bond with that person over just business, not just business all the time. Like if we both like fashion, but we're also doing other things. We bonded a lot over just other things than just the fashion. So yeah, I totally agree with you. It's really good. But then there are some tips we can give people for networking. Yeah. That I think, because I've now like thrown myself out there. I try to go to more events, meet new people. And it's weird because you just sit down, you talk to someone and they've like started this amazing big company or a company you even know about. And you're like, wow, this is crazy that, you know, just by coming out to this event, I've met so many people. So some things I've noticed you can work on is, for example, body language. Yeah, that's one of them. So like folding your arms and all that stuff is very close. It's better if you're like a bit more open, so you look more approachable, so people can come over to you. What else? So personal connection, we've said. I'm also asking them questions. I love asking people questions naturally, and you just get some... People love to talk about themselves. Nobody on this planet can say they don't. So just asking the right questions, like how did you do this? How did you feel? That must be so hard. I love when I meet someone, and then sometimes you find something that you've both experienced as well, which is amazing. And it's like, wow, this person can really help me. And then it's weird, as you're talking to the person, they're helping you without you asking them to help you. It's really weird. That
happened yesterday actually. A friend of mine, when we went to the sustainability summit at Central St. Martin's.
I heard about that.
That was really, really good.
But I heard through another company, maybe one of our agencies. Sustainability is becoming quite a huge trend.
Yeah. Oh, so they spoke about sustainability not just in terms of the environment, but in terms of like the people, like for example, Indigenous people, sustainability, and actually that the routes that they take when you're like importing and exporting is still colonial routes that they've used like for hundreds of years. It's still the same routes. So it's deeper than just the environment. Sustainability is, you know, the people at the other end of the spectrum who are the ones that create our clothes that fast fashion then sells, and they don't make that much money. Like this issue of sustainability affects everybody on the scale, on the spectrum. So that conference was really, really good. But one of the experiences that I saw that in terms of networking is I had a friend who's also a creative, but recently has become a mother. And one of the designers, Mara Hoffman, was there. And she's a mother of an 8-year-old. And she runs a multi-million-dollar company, which is her brand named after herself. And like, she spoke to her on the ground. She heard her podcast that she was talking about the effects, how she felt after giving birth to her child, and like when she had to go back to work and how guilty she felt, but how she also took inspiration from her child to be better and to do better and work better, and she used that as a ground, as you know, as a point of entry of conversation with her, with that designer. And you know, she asks she didn't ask questions of like, oh, you know, your business and that. She asked like, how did that help you as a person? How did your child fulfill you as a creative? And like for me, I was just like, it's fantastic to see people network on a personal level and not just business, because it really is about us communicating all together.
Yes, completely. Totally agreed. But also, I did want to pick up on something that Mina said earlier. I know. No, nothing bad, because it reminded me of something. I feel like sometimes we think of networking to be just with side hustles and business, but you can network in your workplace.
Definitely.
And I will give an example of how it worked for me. So there was the job I did before. I was in a different building, different part of the business, completely different. And there was this new legislation coming in to the country. I'm trying to think of how to say it without giving out what I'm doing.
How you doing?
Okay, so there was a new legislation, and I was just interested in this legislation. I was just like, what does this mean for our company? Like, how are we going to move forward with this? It's really not my business, but I was just curious anyway. So I went to this Google event at Google Campus. It was free, and I just went anyway, and I just to understand how this works, and I just found it so interesting. I don't know why.
I mean, what this legislation is. Tell me off the
we have so many legislations. And then I just came back to the office and spoke to... Who did I speak to? This other lady from a different part of the building. But through networking and talking to... I always make sure I talk to so many other people in the building, not just like my team and my group.
Definitely. Makes difference.
And because I spoke to this woman, I told her, I really find this thing really interesting. Like, what's the company doing about it? How are we moving with this? And she was just like, she nearly collapsed on the floor. She was like, oh my gosh, like, we got so much we're doing. We're so busy, blah, 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 blah. I just said to her, you know what? I don't mind helping you. Like, if you need any help, just let me know.
So good.
And then she was like, well, ask your manager first. I was like, oh yeah, this is true. So
I hear that.
I asked my manager, and she was totally cool. She was like, fine, just make sure it's not too much. And then, so I went, I helped them. I just ended up over the months helping them a little bit.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they created this position because of this legislation.
Oh, okay.
That's amazing.
So yeah, so I interviewed for it and got the job. So it's just like,
yeah,
I just want to share this testimony, just to inspire people. Like, you just never know
100%.
how talking to people will get you to your next position.
100%.
It's all,
So
the
be
networking is
open.
also all about putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
You have to try. The most you can, the worst anybody will ever say to you is no, okay, thanks. That's it.
Yeah.
You're not losing anything by putting yourself out there. You actually gained a position. You gained a new role, a new job.
But I think an important thing is you're not doing it because you want to gain something. You're just doing it to expand your understanding.
Exactly.
And that's the bit where maybe I feel guilty in my head, because if I'm sometimes, people who are like goal oriented all the time, and I think we all are.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, I'm scared I'm gonna come off like not genuine, and so I completely like just back out completely. I'm just like, oh, I'm such an awkward person. My brain's so focused on one thing. I can't even expand it in that way. Like, I completely definitely agree. Obviously, like networking at work as well. But sometimes, because I know in my heart that, do I even want to pursue my career here anymore, I just kind of like shut myself off, which is bad, because there are a lot of people making moves in the company outside as well. So making sure I'm keeping that network. But I'm saying that I can be quite bad at networking because my brain is so soulless in one area. Just like, unless I can see the benefit there and then, I'm like, oh, my brain hurts, I can't do it. Which I'm trying to break from. And hearing these conversations is so good, because actually going to things like summits and going to different seminars and things like that can definitely just expand your way of thinking.
Yes.
Bring new thought as well, and give you more things as well as you as an individual. So when you are conversating with people, you can come from different angles.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm learning. We
are all learning,
I'm a bit
honestly.
of a baby when it comes to it. I'm a bit like, I know it's good to do. My brain hurts.
I think you're good at networking though, because I've been to events with you. You are good at talking to people and connecting. But I think one thing I do understand with you and connect with you on is the getting out of your head bit. I think because there's so much doubt, like hesitation, like you just think, what's the worst that can happen if I just say something? Nothing's gonna happen. Like, just talk. And you never know, like, you get, I've been this person that's been so isolated, no one around me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm opening up now to make more friends and be just a nicer person. And I'm realising you learn you learn so much from people. That is how you learn. You cannot learn by yourself.
100%.
You can be in a conversation with someone and they will say something that'll literally rock your world. It's crazy. So you have to open yourself up, man.
Exactly.
Totally.
Small conversations can change the perspective of yourself as well.
100%. Honestly, we need each other. Yes. But there are some challenges with networking.
Absolutely.
I find sometimes if I go to an event and I meet someone, when do you end the conversation? And how do you gracefully leave?
Do you know, like, you have to keep it sweet. And this is like an issue that a lot of people have. You have to already come prepared with what you're going to say about yourself, because the problem is sometimes, and we've spoken about this, where you talk about yourself too much to the point where the person's now distracted and they're like looking at your head or they're looking behind you and you're like, what the heck are they looking at? Like,
that's me. I think I talk too much. I was like, it's fine.
Yeah, you have to keep it short. Keep it short.
Let me talk about you.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, for me, like, I'll give you an example. Like, I literally, when I first started, I used to be like, yeah, my name's Deborah and I do this and I run this platform and I do this outside of work and I also do this in work. And it's like, there's so limited time when it comes to networking, because you have to remember there's so many people in the room. So your time is limited. You have to keep it short and sweet, straight to the point. And another point that I want to make is, don't feel that you have to rush to get that person's contact details. Everybody's very accessible nowadays.
Really, they are.
If you do not have I've been to loads of events where I haven't managed to speak to the person I really want to speak to, but I know where they are if I need them. I know their email address. Social media has made people very approachable and very, reachable. So it takes nothing to DM them or to email them and say, I went to the event that you spoke at, I was truly inspired by you. I was waiting to speak to you, but unfortunately I had to leave.
That's
maybe
really good point.
next time I'll be able to catch you at another event event, or if you're available, I'd love to take you out for a coffee and just have a conversation.
Oh, that's so
you know,
nice.
always put yourself forward like that. Don't ever feel like if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and you speak to that person there and then. If it's not, humble yourself and wait for the next opportunity or create that opportunity.
I totally hear you on that.
I'm liking these tips.
Yeah. Any other challenges you can think of with networking?
Not really. I don't know, because I've been doing it for so long now. I just kind of like it's
do it in
just
your sleep.
I can do it in my sleep.
Have
But
you
I feel
ever
like
met someone that might be difficult? Like you've gone to net with someone, and this is probably why I need to get out of myself, because you guys are obviously lovely people. So people approach you.
Yeah.
And even if there might be times where you don't actually want to talk to this person, but because you're a polite person, you kind of like let it go. But have you ever approached somebody and you just felt their energy was completely off?
absolutely. Do you know what?
Yeah.
There was a designer that I wanted to speak to, but this designer was well known for being quite confrontational.
Oh my gosh, tell me afterwards.
And I wanted to speak to her for Black Girls in Fashion and like obviously ask some questions that our demographic really wanted to know about her and her work and how she made it in the industry. But even just watching her interact throughout the event, she was quite dismissive, and she kind of shut down a lot of things. And I was just like, you know what? This is the type of person that would be difficult in a network surrounding.
Yeah.
And if you ever come across somebody like that, you always have to be professional, be polite, and end the conversation with, you know, it was really nice to meet you. I have to go now, but maybe next time we can carry on this conversation and move on. Because you will come across people whose energy is not right.
Especially in fashion.
Who will kind of like, I mean, even for example, like Fashion Week,
oh gosh,
somehow I can't even, it was through my friend who's a stylist, we ended up in like the prestige bit at the Strand, and like 5 minutes before I arrived, like Edward Enfield had just left, Adjoa Aboa was there, had just left, like Deborah, who is the executive assistant to Edward, had just left, and it was like obviously people that were like proper important there. And I was talking to a lady who was a journalist, happened to be a Black woman as well, and explaining like what I do with Black Girls in Fashion and my movement, my platform. And she kind of just like really snubbed me, like, oh, okay, but there are Black women that are in the fashion industry that are doing things as well, you know. And I was just like, okay, and clearly you're not one of them, because you're not embracing the idea, the concept of what I'm trying to create. And so I kind of just very politely said, you know, no, it's not for everybody.
That's the
my
thing.
platform is for who wants to accept it, and if it's not for you, then it was never meant for you, and that's it.
It's different with the fashion industry, because I feel like with fashion especially, there's levels to this shit. Those who are like upper tier and elite, they act a bit, not all of them obviously, but you do get quite a few that are not nice. I did intern for a jewelry company that's doing quite well maybe a few years ago, and I have to say the designer was not really nice, and it's just like a lot of designers are not really nice, and it's a bit,
but do you know what's funny?
disheartening.
Sometimes it's the case where the designers are not nice, but the team is really, really good. The team is loving. They're very supportive. You
definitely learn a lot from
and you learn from the team, but the designer isn't as approachable. But then it will flip in a different company, and where the design is really nice and like, but the team is really uppity and really snotty, like just really snooty, and like it's a strange thing. But you just need to learn how to handle yourself, because reputation is very important.
Yes.
You don't want to mess your reputation up, especially not in the fashion industry. It's far too small.
Oh gosh.
Far too small for that.
I feel like because I've hidden myself so much from like networking, I feel like I don't even know the goods and the bads, because I think in any industry is sometimes people really like live off their clout and all that kind of stuff. So I can have the benefit if some people saw me perform and they're like, oh, actually, Mina West, she's pretty lit. People come talk to me, I feel at ease. But I'm not always going to be like I'm rarely ever now the hot topic. So when I'm not kind of like having a reason for people to come talk to me, I'm not doing anything to outwardly talk to other people as well, which is my problem. Because in my industry, I need to be talking to event organisers, kind of having a couple of event organisers, knowing people like journalists and stuff like that with different kind of platforms who can also promote you as well. People you can collab with, people you can network with. I get all like shy. I'm like,
but why do you feel shy? Like, what is it?
Because I'm so afraid of rejection, which is a bit pathetic as well. Because when I first started doing poetry, like when I first started, before I released anything, like you put yourself down on like open mics and you kind of go to people, I'd like to perform. And in the initial beginning, you do get no's, but it's life, you get no's.
Yeah.
But then when you start to build a little bit more, you kind of just you wish people would just reach out to you, which is a bit foolish to think because you still need to be doing in that hustle.
You still
but
have
it's
to be
that nervousness of like, oh, I don't want people to reject me. I'm doing stuff to break myself out of that right now.
Yeah.
I am, because if I really want to like progress it to the stage I want to progress it out, I just have to get over the no's. Because also, the no's isn't, even if people say it to you politely or not politely, they have right to as well. People have right to say no to you because they've got their own platform. If they don't know you like that, or they don't think you're fitting for it, then by all means, maybe you're not the right person. But it's just nerve-wracking. And I think that's the biggest problem for me, was that I always initially went in for something versus what you guys are telling me around networking, just find the personal ground and just chat and just get to know people. And stop thinking about the whole like you need
the
something.
work aspect, and
that's the area which I think I'm learning from you guys right now.
Also, the no's you can learn a lot from.
Yeah,
because if you work out why, if you do get no's, say if you like, I don't know, trying to put your poetry out there and you're getting a lot of no's, find out why you're getting these no's and address it. Like it helps you. Either way, in the whole grand scheme of things, it's all helping you.
I've been okay. No one's been knowing me for a couple of years, but it kind of broke me down a little bit in the beginning, and then it made me more kind of wait for people to outreach to me, which is lazy because you also need to keep outreaching to other people. I'm blessed when people do reach out to me, but I'm limiting myself at the same time.
Yeah.
You can't fear rejection because there's so much, like Jen said, that you can learn from your rejection.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times no doesn't mean no, it just means not right now.
Yeah, agreed.
And you have to be, and this is where I keep saying you have to be humble enough to say, yes, you've worked many years doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yes, you've put yourself out there and you've had great opportunities. And sometimes there are opportunities that you want that you won't get, but that's for a reason.
Yeah.
Because it's not meant for you right now.
True.
So when you network the next time and the right person comes along and you connect on a personal level, that's when opportunities will come more for you. Because I feel like some of the biggest things like that I've done, especially through we run this interns, I headed and produced and led the internship talk panel for the Victoria and Albert Museum in 2017 for their fashion. They had like a fashion conference thing at their museum,
Nice.
and like 120 students showed up. Like it was nuts, and that wasn't because I reached out to them. It was a friend of mine who I knew who started out as a follower.
Yeah.
Came to my consultations that I was having, came to my events, and then put me forward for that position.
See,
that's amazing.
So that's
amazing.
You know, all of these things will come through you networking and getting to know people.
Yeah.
Opportunities will arise from that.
This is so insightful. I'm really enjoying this.
Good.
Just one final thing I wanted to speak about on networking. I think not even networking on life. I read this book called Women Who Run with Wolves, and that book, I always bring it up on the podcast.
I don't want to read it, actually.
Has changed.
Did you have a physical copy or did you have it on?
But I'm giving it to my sister, my physical
That's
one.
fine.
What's it called again?
Women Who Run with Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. Nice. It's a really good book. Literally changed how I see everything. So something I just want to say for everyone.
Just buy it.
Just buy it. You'll read it again. I want to read it again. Something I'll say for everyone is there's something called ego that we all have. Ego doesn't want to feel humiliated. Ego doesn't want rejection. There's so many things around our egos. And so I feel like you achieve a lot in business, at work, and in a lot of things if you just park your ego aside and just do what needs to be done. That's what I want to say on that.
Just quickly, I wanted to make a point. Like, I know that we're all, like, you know, still starting out in our careers and stuff, but when it comes to networking, don't just keep it in the emails. Don't just meet them at the events. Offer to like take them out as well. Offer to you know, buy them a coffee. And it's inexpensive really. If like, for example, I've got a list here of places that you can take them to, like St. Ames Cafe, which is in West London, just behind Edgware Road. Amazing flipping coffees. Like they have this amazing like unicorn hot chocolate drink thing. It's so stunning and it's inexpensive. £5.
Yeah.
You invest £10 for that day. Buy yourself one, buy that person one. You network, you talk, you give them a good experience. You give them, something to...
Yeah, definitely.
It's like dating for business.
So it's like St. Ames, and you've got Palm Vaults in Hackney. You've got Grind Clerkenwell is my favourite one. Ace Hotel, we met.
We met Ace actually, yeah.
Ace Hotel, they have a really
nice.
cool lobby. Or if you want, go upstairs to the bar. And then if it's like for the, a bit higher prestige connection, then you take them to like the Connaught bar or the Dorchester Hotel. You stay at the bar, like £20, £10 for you, £10 for them. It's inexpensive. You really have to, when it comes to networking, we have to up our game as well. As professionals. Let's take it outside of the emails.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. It holds that
I'm learning
relationship.
a lot. I'm learning because whenever we say networking, it's actually one thing I weirdly like shy from. I'm like, unless the person don't know me already.
Yeah.
I just get real like awkward just because I get really shy. Yeah. It's weird.
But
and I'm in my ego a lot as well.
Do you know how I've broken that though?
Yeah.
I use social media to network a hell of a lot.
That's a great thing, right?
Through my platforms, through Black Girls in Fashion,
I
have managed to connect with some really high-end senior editors
at
magazines, their executive assistants, through the content that we create, they engage, then we take it to the DMs, we talk, I like on things that they post, or if they have like an amazing article, I'll say, oh, do you know what, I read this, I really enjoyed it. You're already building that personal connection there. So then once you get to the event that you know that they're going to be at, it's going to be so easy. And that happened to me yesterday when I met Margin Carlos.
Oh, wow.
She's a very well-known journalist, former editor of Vogue.com. And she was actually the founding editor and culture editor for Saint Heron.
Okay.
Solange's.
Wow.
Solange's brand.
Yeah, her brand. So
can I just say, going back to the beginning bit when the guy says you don't work, how can you say that? Because everything you're saying right now, by the way, is as much as
work.
It's work.
Yeah, she's so busy.
Work because that's dedicating time, because the fact you even take out time to get to know that individual, kind of find out about their background a little bit. So you're going in with some information. That is time alone. So
it takes a lot of time.
That guy say that to you.
And especially in the evenings, I'm in bed, like my eyes are like half shut and I'm still on my phone.
Gosh,
I'm trying, but do you know what? That's not healthy though, I will say.
No, but I feel like you have to at the beginning really grind.
That's true. You
kind of have to.
Yeah.
Every single great will tell you how they did it. Also, I'm reading Outliers, book about extraordinary people who achieve things. And they have this thing about this whole 10,000 hours to really succeed in what you're doing.
That's what they say.
And it's kind of true. If you look at the greats, they really practice for inhumane amount of hours to get where they are.
Do.
So yesterday I was really exhausted editing pictures to put up onto the website, but it's like I have to do this because if I don't do this, it'll move too slow.
I was saying, I feel bad talking about work again. No, because my job's quite a distance from my house, like 2 hours there, 2 hours back. I felt like knackered all the time, so I made the decision earlier in the week to earlier in the year to drop down to 4 days just to kind of dedicate more time, because as much as I definitely agree with you, it takes like 10,000 hours to kind of become a professional. I believe that people should have rest as well. And I just wasn't getting that balance, and that meant that the work I was producing wasn't even of standard because I'm just knackered all the time. And so I'm trying to learn that balance more. Like I took a pay cut and just to kind of get more days to focus on the craft that I'm in love with. But yeah, I feel like I'm relearning everything. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm gonna share something as well, because I've actually stepped down from my career in fashion to able to properly fund what I'm doing with Black Girls in Fashion and also take care of myself.
Yeah.
Because because I work on a freelance basis, freelance contracts are very hard to come across in the fashion industry, especially if you do them like between like 6 to 8 months or 8 months to 12 months. They're very difficult to come across. So for me, I had to take a step back and analyze, okay, I still want to work in the fashion industry. Me stepping back doesn't take away that I'm still a senior. And that I'm still very experienced and I know what I'm doing. But I have to step back in order to invest in myself and in my craft.
Yes.
So I will be going back into fashion, but for now, this is the sacrifice that I'm willing to make for my craft.
That's it. Sacrifice.
That's it.
You have to sacrifice to get what you want. I don't believe, it's not that you can't get things easily, but a lot of people always try and look for the easy way out of situations.
I found this really good line. Oh, I'm not going to remember it. Something about if you don't sacrifice... if you don't sacrifice what you do, if you don't
If you don't sacrifice for what you want now, what you want will become the sacrifice.
Yeah, that was it.
Boom!
Boom! Let me write down.
That was so
and I was
good.
like, ouch, I feel triggered.
It was good.
I feel attacked.
I double tapped that boy. I was like, that's a good one.
I feel attacked.
It's good.
What was it again? If you don't
sacrifice for what you want becomes a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Because the other day I was sitting with I've had this a few times with some friends who we're turning 30.
Are you? Wow.
We're turning 30. It's on the horizon. Well, I'm not turning 30 this year.
When people are like so young like me, I don't
whatever.
know.
I'm about to out your age on this pod.
I turned 21 again last weekend.
We are approaching 30.
Wow. Cool.
And I have had a few conversations with some friends.
I need to go over this.
Yeah, can you get over it, please? We are approaching 30, Mina.
I don't know why you're trying to say we.
But anyway, let me...
Baby girl out.
Wait, let me see what I'm saying.
Sorry.
So my friend was asking about it. How do you feel? I've had multiple people ask me about it. And I'm like, I'm fine about it. What do you mean? And some people are fretting. And I'm just thinking, if you're fretting, you're not preparing. And that's it.
Yeah.
You're not preparing. Mm-hmm. All that, I'm just talking about career, what you want to achieve and blah, blah. I'm not talking about marriage and all those other things that we have no control over, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But Absolutely. If you're preparing, I don't see why you should be worrying about that. Sacrifice.
I remember the interview, and when Nipsey Hussle died, I really felt that. And then I started doing my research into him, and he was very smart,
man.
Entrepreneur. Music was just
building back into his
music was like
as well.
Music was just the starting point for the things that he had in his mind that he wanted to create and do. And one of the things I was listening to an interview, and he said to the interviewer, the interviewer asked him, so how does it feel to get to this stage where you are now? And he was like, I'm not going to lie to you. I can't tell you that I didn't feel every emotion, because I did. I can't tell you that it wasn't hard, because it was. The only difference between me and the next person is that I did not stop. Ooh. And that's what you have to keep in mind.
Yes.
When we start platforms, when we start podcasts like yours, it's not going to happen overnight. Don't think that you're going to be Beyonce overnight. You're not. Don't think that you're going to be Anna Wintour overnight, because you're not. These women were born for these roles, and they invested their 10,000 hours, and they invested day and night, and they have become the people that they have become because of the sacrifices that they made.
I was thinking, I actually got asked to do a workshop, my first workshop.
Nice.
So yesterday I was planning the prep of what my program could look like, so I've got to share with them. I've been wanting workshops to be part of my catalogue of things I do, poetry workshops, for a while. So when this blessing came to me, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to take it. And as I was prepping, one of the main things I had, another point I had is it talks about practice. And I was remembering Beyonce's Homecoming, and I was like, it actually isn't a joke.
That was so good.
Because I'm practicing, I was practicing because I got a gig tomorrow. I feel bad. I never host myself. I got a gig tomorrow, and I sometimes feel so tired. Like nothing in me wants to practice, and I'm like, Mina, you say you want to take this seriously, and then you. Obviously, there's so many other greats, not just Beyonce, although I love Beyonce.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be telling people as well the importance of practice, and practice again. And I was like, there is dedicated time. There is no joke. You take this seriously. You art that craft. You make it perfect. You perfect it. And when you're on the stage, you give it your best and your all. You make sure you leave knowing you gave your best. And next time you're on stage, you're going to have to redo it all over again. And I was like...
Absolutely.
I can't even do this myself. I was practicing yesterday. I was like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
Sometimes tired is a bit of concept,
I know.
Sometimes we think we're tired. If you just listen to some music or do something that keeps you upbeat, you're
I
suddenly
that
awake.
Thing you were talking about, that breathing.
And another thing to help, if you want to help with carrying on doing your work, even if you get tired, listen to different genres of music.
Yes,
I listen to chill hop. Which it's like a mixture of lo-fi hip hop with chill jazz, and that really centers.
It's like vlog music, isn't it?
Yeah, it really centers you.
Okay.
And there's different types. There's some for studying, relaxing, reading, whatever, and that can really give you some. Okay, let me
listen to Kygo?
No,
you'll love Kygo.
Okay, I'm
give
gonna write
Kygo
that down.
a go. Honestly.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, this has actually been a
is
really good conversation.
Really unpacked a lot right now.
Really been a really good conversation. Really needed as well, because it's when I talk about, I'm so thankful for this podcast because Jennifer, like, she is a hard-working woman. I see she does, and it inspires me. It inspires me because, like I said, I don't have a lot of friends within the creative world and stuff like that. So this is never a conversation that really pops up or anything that you learn from. Like, most of our conversations are kind of like, oh, this person's getting married or this person's birthday or this type of issues. But the hard work stuff, it always feels like it's in my head alone. So the podcast, for me, has just been therapy because me and Jen just have opportunity to generally talk. But then also when we have guests who are in similar industries and we learn so much. I feel like this is a learning session for me right now. I'm like, there's things that
I'm learning so much from both of you as well.
So I'm really thankful.
You girlies are dope.
You're dope.
You're dope.
You're dope
Dope
too.
girlies.
You guys are amazing. Okay, so even though we were talking about networking, I don't think everyone can connect with the whole networking topic. But a topic that I think most of us can connect with is interviews, job interviews. So I'll start with myself.
Okay.
Every time I went to an interview, I'd always just, it was so technical to me. I would just research the company, research the role, the job description, and just go there and basically recite everything I researched. And everything changed for me the day I sat on the other side of the table. And then you really see
what it's like
and what you're looking for, and you realize I realized I was just going about this very wrong. So I just thought it'd be a really good time for us to just discuss interviewing, because I'm sure you've interviewed. Have you interviewed as well? Yeah. So have you interviewed as well?
Yeah.
Actually? Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Yeah. So we can all like talk about it and like explain what we think helps and doesn't help, because I'm sure some people listening, you never know, could actually just need this.
I think because the thing is, what you have to remember about interviews is that all interviews are different. All the tactics are different.
Okay.
In an interview, you really have to home into the person's body language.
Yeah.
You need to also, from the body language, take your cue when you can lead the conversation and when you're lying in wait for the person. For me, for example, when I'm interviewing people, I'm more of I censor on their vibe, because when I look at somebody's CV, if I've invited you to the interview, it's because you're already a potential candidate.
Definitely.
So I really am just feeling,
everybody.
I really am just feeling your energy, feeling your personality. Is your personality going to add to Black girls in fashion in any way, shape, or form? Yeah. What is it? What are the intentions that? You know, what intentions do you have for Black girls in fashion, and what you expecting of Black girls in fashion? These are like the main things for me.
One of the interesting things when I was on the other end is that the people I was interviewing, I realised that they actually have to read it. And this is not in a cocky way. You kind of have to interview the company yourself as well that you're going to be part of. And the way I say that is
and it shows when they are.
Yeah. And because I want to see, are you interested? I want to see, are you passionate about the role you're about to be in? And also just to kind of check that you vibe, because there are some people who could technically do the role, but you might not fit within the team. And that's your opportunity to see, could you fit into the team? Could you like me as a manager or not like me as a manager?
Exactly.
And that's why that's what I mean by you as an interviewee is also interviewing, because you're trying to see, is this role good for me? Obviously, don't come in with, I want to know what you do with XYZ. You've got to be passionate about the role. You've already done your research, but check, this is your test bed as well. Could you get on with this team? And you get a little bit of insight of the company, very small, because until you actually join the company, how much more do you know? But you get to see as an individual, who is that person. So that's one thing,
And also, on the flip side, as you as the interviewee, like for example, for me, like when I interview for like my freelance gigs, it will be on the basis of the work culture and work environment. I refuse to, I don't have a problem saying no if I don't feel like your company is somewhere that I feel comfortable would accept me as a creative. Because especially being a Black woman, I'm already been judged before I've even arrived.
100%,
There's many times where I've gone in for an interview and the person's double-taked on my CV. Debora Tonet? Debora Tonet? Yes, darling, that's me. You know, so I'm already being judged off of being Black and then female and then a creative. So for me, as an interviewee, when I go in, I want to know about your work environment. I want to know about the work culture. I want to know how you are as a manager, how you are as a boss. You know, what you expect. Do you expect us to work overtime? Do you expect us just to come in and do the regular 9 to 5, or do you want us to do additionals? You know, I have additional skills. I do event production. I'm also a public speaker. I do plenty other things.
Kind of help me,
what
like,
do you need from me?
Yeah.
What does the company need from me? And what I want from you?
Yeah. Because one of my hard things, when I have interviewed people, it was for like very like entry level roles. So bless it, it's kind of like young people from just straight out of uni, like myself, because I'm so young.
Gosh,
and for me, just kind of seeing that taught me so much, because they were so junior and so entry level. You can tell the ones who've had like support from like key people around them, who've had mentors around them, because they came across differently, and I'm like, this is the difference it makes. And so for me, learning that, I was like, oh, I actually want to make sure I'm at least supporting, especially like young black girls, for the future, because we don't always have that advantage. A lot of I even saw that, like, oh shit, no, I'm not gonna say that. But I always I want to support whoever's best for the role. But yeah, part of me wanted to definitely hire a young black girl, because that's who people don't always get a chance. And it was disheartening when I didn't see as many in the interview process, because that whole concept is that we have to be 10 times, but not 10 times better, but better than anyone else, is so frustratingly true. And there's so many people that don't even have that basics, where people from other cultures learn certain key sets and are already set, so when they're in the interview and they've got that, I just remember seeing that process, thinking like, you've definitely been mentored by someone, and you can feel it, because she knew what to say, how to say it, questions to ask. And I'm like, I actually didn't know that. And this is actually me just being stupid, but my first internship, when I was looking for my first internship, and I was like 18, 19 years old, I got an interview for a really great company, and I went in just thinking I could be smiley and happy in myself because I had good grades. And they liked my personality, but I didn't do the basics of like making sure I knew enough about that company. And that's basics, and I was 19, like a couple of years ago. But it just showed that I wasn't being mentored properly at that time.
That, do you know what? That happened to me as well. Yeah. My first industry interview was at Alexandra McQueen.
Ooh.
Oh, and she's worked in some high places.
And I literally got an interview for a print internship when I was in college.
Yeah.
And I wasn't prepped for the interview. I didn't know what the hell to do, what to say. I think my email was even something stupid like mrscentral@hotmail.co.uk. It was
my email was tiny blogs, tiny
for
blogs.
interviews.
When I was that age, I was young. I've got a new one soon.
But I just wasn't prepped. Like, we just weren't prepared back then. And I remember going into the interview and I was all giddy and stuff, and I had like 5 sketchbooks from like my art and design course that I was on, and I was like, this is my work and this is my painting on this, and it was just like the interviewer was just like, right, okay, this is great, but I really wanted to speak to you because I felt like reading your CV, your personality came through, and I really like you as a person, but I think maybe get to uni and finish uni and then come back. Back then we just didn't have that knowledge back then, but now we do. And there's like girls like myself, like Jen, and like yourself that have that experience now, and we're here to share it.
And I think the key thing to remember when you're going to an interview is you've already met the specifications. That's why you're there. So I think, of course, still show them that you can do the job, but personality wins, I think, at interview. Once you've already seen what's on their CV and they've got a really nice personality, the job is theirs. It's that simple. So it's like, just let your personality shine and just be yourself, I suppose. But do we have some tips for interviews? Things that you should and shouldn't do. So, for example, one of mine is, if they ask you at the end if you have any questions, make sure you ask a question.
100% agreed.
Don't ever walk out there not asking a question, because it looks like you don't care. We had one lady who came in for an interview and we were like, do you have any questions? And she had loads of questions, but it was like questions of somebody who clearly cares and is interested in the role. It just showed her enthusiasm, and it just made us like her even more.
I think, like you said, you have to have at least 10 to 15 questions ready.
That's a lot.
Like,
that's a lot.
It seems like
5 to 7.
10 to 15 for me.
Like 5.
I was like 3.
And one tip that I would do is take out, like, bring it.
Prepared, girl.
Write it in a notebook.
You became prepared.
Write it in a notebook. Open the notebook so they can see. Like, you don't have to.
No, actually, no. That doesn't always work.
Does it not?
If I had an interview, someone brought a notebook with loads of writings, I'd be like, okay, I don't know if this person's going to be a handful. Let's just see. Let's just see.
You're like, oh, this one's going to be asking questions all day.
You know, I was going too much.
I know,
so funny.
It's just like, for me, it's just kind of like a tactic. Like if they say, oh, do you have any questions for us? I mean, I always have questions anyway.
Can it depend maybe on the industry then? Because obviously I'm
just
not in the
thinking
fashion
now.
industry.
I was just thinking that now.
Say that again?
I'm not in the fashion industry, so I'm thinking because it probably works in different industries. So I don't know.
I think, but do you know what? For me, like, tactics in an interview is engagement.
Yes.
Eye contact.
Yeah.
Yes.
I never break eye contact.
Yeah.
And that's a way for people.
I know.
No, obviously I'm not like staring you down.
No. I'm agreeing with you because I hate eye contact. I'm just like, oh gosh.
But eye contact is something that's very important.
I had a trick with my eye contact, only for someone to tell me that no, it doesn't work.
Okay, go on.
I don't like looking at people's eyes. I'm like looking at their foreheads. And people are like, why are you looking at my forehead? I'm like, oh, can you tell?
That's a good idea.
But it'll be like my friends, like peers. I'm like, it's just weird.
Can you imagine? I just interviewed this great lady, but she
like,
kept looking at my forehead.
That's so funny.
Because I was looking at your hair, like your eyes. I thought it was my like lit trick of life.
Just looking at you have to like. I feel like when you look at somebody's eyes, they know that you're serious. They know that you're sincere,
and
that you know what the hell you're talking about.
Now, I feel weird. I'm like, gotta look at your forehead again.
Another good thing,
peering into your soul.
Really, I'm like, okay, this was so weird. It's really all clammy. I feel so weird.
I think also it's good if you can, don't force it. End with a bang. I'll never forget this one. Not end with a bang, but like in a positive note. Do something that makes them laugh. There was this one girl we interviewed, and she pulled out her chair and she was pushing it back in. It was heavy, and she was like, "Right, that's my cardio for the day." And we were all laughing. I was like, just for that last line, we're sold. It's weird.
Nice.
So again, back to personality. Just bring it out.
Yeah.
I think another tip is assertiveness. Be assertive when you're speaking about yourself and about your skills.
Yes.
Don't mumble. Don't stutter. Be clear and be loud. Like you have to. People need to know that you are the right person for the job and that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yes. It's weird because all these tips we do have, it's like there's a fine line where you can't skate past it.
Yes.
So I agree with you. It's good to be assertive, but make sure you don't come across as arrogant.
Arrogant, yeah.
Because that does happen in interviews where this person seems a bit like too...
And I'd say, for example, I'll give you a tip. For example, if there's something, and when I say assertive and you know, assertive within yourself and your skills.
Yeah.
If, for example, let's say, oh, you know, I'm not very good at Excel because it's not something that I do all the time.
Yeah.
I do it like bits here and there. So if I get somebody that says, oh, and how are you with Excel? I will always say, I have moderate experience in Excel and I'm pretty confident in using it. Although if you need me to do it, I'm always happy to take additional classes on the side.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's me
as well.
being honest and assertive of my skill.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can do it, but should you need me to do it more, like if it's the core of my role, then I'm happy to take additional classes to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by assertiveness.
Yeah.
That's a good way to
And
see
then
it.
also another tip, time you arrive for the interview.
Oh yeah.
Don't arrive 30 minutes.
But I'm always early for everything anyway. So do you know what? Time to skip my brain. But for those who are late, those who are on black people time.
Oh my gosh, never late. If you're late, don't even show up. Just go home.
I actually get to interviews like 30 minutes, 45 minutes early. But
Do you go to reception and tell them you're
No.
there?
I walk around the area.
Exactly, yeah.
I walk around the area,
That's
make
what I
sure
mean.
I'm there.
That's what I mean.
And then I have to change into my shoes because obviously I came in trainers. I'm like, I've got to change my shoes. And then I get there direct 15 minutes early.
But some people, 30, 45 minutes, they're at reception. I'm here for the interview. And they're going to call the person.
That's long.
And then or not even just me, just the person will be like, oh, for fuck's sake, no, I have to go. And you're like, oh,
No,
God.
I'm like, that person can wait. I was like, the meeting's at 1. I don't know why they're here at 12:15.
But then I think it depends on the industry. But in my industry, when they come early, I never see people positive about it.
Not 45 minutes
Yeah,
early.
45
That's not acceptable
45
because
minutes.
people have other things to do.
I'll literally go by the cafe, just read through my notes again of any questions I have and all that kind of stuff. Just because when you live in a certain part of North London, trains aren't always like...
Yeah, working.
No, it's true. You have to make sure you're there early in case, just to make sure you're not late.
Yeah, like,
but I think
trains don't play.
in terms of entering the building, don't make it too late because once you enter that building, they're going to call the person and you're now on that person's radar.
Yeah.
And you don't want to rush them or make them have to get ready You don't want to put them off their balance. They're really planned for you to come at a set time.
I'm not going to lie. It's bad. If I've got an interview at 1, I know I've got an interview at 1, you can come at 12:15, you can come at 10 a.m. You still going to sit there.
I was just going to say, in the fashion industry, you'll wait until the time that you're supposed to be seen.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't feel any way pressure to
I always arrive.
I've seen people feel pressure though.
I always arrive 15 minutes.
Not feel pressure, but like, why are they so early?
Oh, really?
They'll definitely say something like, why are they so early?
Oh. I'll be like, there you go. To do my work.
I always arrive 15 minutes before the interview.
Yeah.
I think that's a good 15
time.
Minutes. Let them finish what they got to do, and then they know
that you're
she's
waiting.
downstairs.
Yeah.
But then, to be honest, when I was interviewing for production assistant at Erdem, I was 20 minutes late.
Did you get the role?
And I still got the role.
Really?
And that's only because I was already there.
Yeah.
And I called and I was like, oh yeah, I think I'm here now. And they were like, okay, just turn left or whatever. The left that I ended up turning was a 20-minute left walk down the road. So then she was like, oh, I can't see you. I was like, yeah, I've turned left. And I'm like, by such and such. So they were like, okay, sorry about that. Come back round.
Yeah.
So I was 20 minutes late, but I still got it.
Fair enough. And then also, don't bitch about your employer.
100%, that's right, yeah.
That comes across very bad.
You can say, don't bitch, but kind of, you can give constructive criticism of where you're currently at, but I don't know how to
give an example.
How did I do?
Do you mean don't bitch outside of work?
So if you're at an interview, don't bitch about your current employer.
Say there's no way for you to personally expand in that role. Be like, oh, you know what? I've enjoyed my work. I've enjoyed my time in this workplace at the moment. But at the very moment in time, there is no opportunity for me to progress further. Yeah. Basically, they're holding me down.
Exactly.
But there's no way for me to progress further.
Or like that, or for example, you know, I applied for this job because I really want something a bit more challenging.
Yeah.
I find that, you know, I've
done
all that I can do at this my current position.
Amazing.
And I feel like with this position in this company, you're going to challenge me the way I want to.
Yeah.
Yes.
A side eye, although I don't know, I've never actually done this. I've worked with many different management styles.
Yeah.
I've many different management styles, and I feel like this has built me. This is a way that you can big up yourself, and I feel like this has supported me a lot more in be able to take on new challenges.
Yeah.
What do you mean by management styles? Well,
so that's what I said. Don't go to the management style.
I'm joking.
I think, to be honest, like there's never really. If you phrase it right, there's no. That you never ever have to explain that you're having issues at work.
Exactly.
There's no.
But you'd be surprised.
Really.
Some people do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also probably it's a tough one talking about salary and bonuses and all that stuff, because you kind of want them to bring it up first before try and have them bring it up first.
Yeah, I'm in the awkward position where like sometimes I definitely like to know what the salary range is before I even before I even accept.
I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of the jobs that I see sometimes, they don't even say the salary anymore. And it's a bit weird.
I actually tell them. I remember the job I'm at now, they were at a certain salary. So a recruiter called me and I was like, I'm not interested. I just blatantly said I wasn't interested. And it was like 3 weeks later, then they actually upped the salary. So I was like, okay, now I see them now. And I don't know if that's the right thing for me, because if you are trying to get key areas in your career, sometimes it's not all about salary. Some positions can definitely support you beyond that. But I at least like to know the range, what we're working on. Because if I'm expecting a certain amount and it's like 15k under that, then why am I here?
And not just that, but what you should also do when it comes to salaries, prior to your interview, research the similar roles in other companies and the salaries. So that you can also go in with like a kind of, you know, if for example, like at an interview, I actually ended up negotiating $1.5 grand more than the last, $3 more than the last girl that doing the same position. Good. But maybe that's because I had more experience anyway. Yeah. But I had also done some research and I was like, okay, I want it to be between, when it came to money, and growing up, we were always told never ask about the salary. Never ask. You have to ask.
It was really, first time I interviewed someone, first time I hired somebody, the salary bit was a bit frustrating and weird because though I was a manager, I didn't have any say on what that salary budget is. Yeah. So I felt a bit like, you kind of feel like a middleman. Being middle management can always make you feel in that weird position. And the person I'd given the role to had actually kind of sent a really nice polite email. So I was like, you've been mentored. That she's seen roles for X amount would I be in position to kind of review the salary? So I had to speak to my head of the role to be like, by the way, I do really want this individual, but they're asking for a certain amount of salary. They said they're not going to change the salary, and I think also that's because when you're like entry level as well, you don't have as much negotiation power. When you get further on, it's much more easier. But and I actually really rated that person from such an early age. They're already starting to ask those hard questions, and so we had an agreement that we would at least review that salary in the next 3 months. And I was like, that's quite nice because at least I already know where that person's brain is thinking, because it means she's about it, and only when she's about it, then she got another role that gave her more anyways. So it was like, it made me learn like, actually you can lose people when you're not matching
the market rate, especially.
And 100%. I think and I think that's on the flip side of that, if you're the interviewee, you should be, it's good to ask those questions, but you should be prepared to walk away if they're not willing to give you what you need. Because sometimes especially if you, like, for example, for me, if I know I have the right amount of experience and then some, and you're giving me a quite low salary for what I'm going to be doing, I need to be prepared to say, okay, I would like to get between this and that, because I know I can do this, and I'll be bringing this to your company, and I have the ability to bring these brands and these clients to your company. So could you please review this? If not, if they say no, this is the base rate that we're going to give you, I'm happy to walk away.
That's fair. You know your worth. It's just like dating.
Yeah, it's just like dating.
You know your worth.
It is hard. I'm still learning to have those kind of conversations. I had to have those type of conversations within my own workplace, because when I found out somebody else was like around the same, but made more than me and I did more work.
Tell us more, actually. Because
I found out about 2 years ago. So it's been.
Was it a man or a woman?
It was a man, and I just said it was wrong. I said it was wrong, and I wasn't happy about it.
How did they feel when you spoke up about it?
And it was more because, like, I got pushed into a senior position. Not pushed. I got pushed into a senior position, but also when you have more work than a one human person can actually do. And in the very beginning of the role, I was too shy to really kind of say that. I was just constantly working late. That's not humane for anyone to do that, and so I kind of really did kind of crack as an individual. And so I didn't kind of phrase it, because the way I found out was more because an email chain had kind of gone round and they were looking to replace that person's role, and that role was made more than what I was on. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I have seen this, by the way, and I expect my salary to be reviewed. And I also expect my role to be changed. And I had like really kind of blank. I think the way I did it might have not been the best, but because I've been in the company for X amount of years and done X amount of work, I kind of knew my worth by the point where, you see me, I'm very frustrated right now, and that just didn't help it a bit more, and that helped change the conversation. But that won't work in all situations. It was just because I had seen an email chain and knew what I was doing, and I was like, oh, the excuse could have been like, oh, that person's more senior than you. I was like, yeah, I'm doing more work and don't care. I've been doing it for about a year now, so I'm now got the experience that you threw me in. And I'm very thankful for the experience as well, because it definitely exposed me to so many different aspects and areas of marketing. It just made me realise that these companies don't care about you.
Do you know what? I don't think they don't care about you, but it's kind of like, how do I liken this? You are selling coats. We're all selling coats, You price that coat at what you want to price that coat at. It's your coat and it's your responsibility. You choose to put into that coat and make sure it's selling right, or you just be quiet with that coat and be happy with it.
Definitely.
And a lot of people, I'm afraid, including myself in the past, will sit comfortable and not say anything until they suddenly become exposed to something. But this has been happening all along and you're not aware. But it's like, your issue shouldn't be that this person's earning more. The issue is you bring a lot to this table and you deserve more. That's what the issue is. Because if you stay with that mindset, you're not even comparing. You're just thinking about yourself constantly and not looking at other. You don't even care what other people are doing.
For me, it's when you have that transition change from like exec to manager, and then you're managing people, and so you have this like nervousness of what kind of conversations you have. And that's why I believe in having these conversations, networking with people and learning from other people, because I have some friends who are in finance and they're really cutthroat. They're like, nah, I want one time my friend was talking to me, she's like, I'm going to ask my manager for like a 10k pay rise. Do you think it's too much? And I was like,
oh my God.
I need to learn to have these conversations. I don't even know how to have these conversations. Like, yeah, this person's got 20k pay rise, like that. Completely different industry, like when you're in banking and all that kind of stuff. But I'm there just going like, oh, I want a couple of K more. You know what I mean? I need to like, money isn't everything, and it doesn't matter what industry you are in. It's knowing my worth at the end of the day.
Yeah. And you're here to make money, let's be real.
And not being afraid to say my worth. And it was helpful because it definitely, I made some changes, and then I put myself in a position where I was comfortable. If I was to drop 4 days a week, could I still manage what I was doing? And also trying to find multiple streams of income as well. So there's things I've been working on the outside.
Yeah. And also I feel like sometimes, I don't know, my mentor kind of said this, and it was just such a, don't get stuck in the bubble of your workplace. Always be aware of what other companies are paying that same position. That's why I like LinkedIn, because even though I'm not looking, it's always telling you about jobs. Yeah. So you're always seeing what the market value, what the market rate is for your job. The minute you feel you're not being paid enough, that's your sign.
Yeah.
Nice. Literally your sign. Sketch It Out is a bit different this week. We didn't have any questions in at our email address, but if you do have any dilemmas that you want us to answer, please send it over to theblankcanvaspod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Okay, so I came across this website with some interesting questions, and I thought we could just answer them.
Okay, cool.
All right. So the first question. My partner and I broke up because he realised he doesn't feel ready to fully commit to a relationship at the moment. What should I do beyond waiting?
Babes, he's done you a favour. I think that in this day and age, there's so much opportunity for us to grow in various aspects of our lives, and maybe this will help you grow in a different, do something that maybe you've always wanted to do and you've never done it. And I'll give the example for me. I was in a really bad relationship last year, and I just disappeared for the summer. I went to Portugal and stayed with my family. And I was like,
Portugal?
Yeah, so I'm Portuguese and Angolan. So I needed that time to say, okay, what is it that I love doing? What do I want to do? I want to pour my heart and soul into something, and thus Black Girls in Fashion was born. So had I not eliminated that relationship and used that time to better myself, I wouldn't have come out with something. I wouldn't have grown in a different avenue of myself, of the person that I am.
So I agree. I think it's interesting because, whenever I hear people talk about relationships and stuff like that, one of the key things is about it being a partnership. Yeah. And that means you both have to be on the same page and both wanted to be in a position where you want to support and build each other.
Absolutely.
If somebody is telling you that they don't want to be in a relationship or they cannot see commitment being a thing, then like you just said, they're doing you a favour, because you cannot be anchored down by somebody who's dragging you down.
Exactly.
You've just got to let it go.
Exactly.
And as hard as it is, because we like to cling onto something being there, someone being there. I'm talking about myself as well. Like, you love just the idea of somebody else being there, but they're dead weight. Like, they're literally, you're dragging yourself down through a horrible emotional roller coaster. Almost let them go. Let yourself be sad for a bit, but then go do something. Focus on yourself, because you have to be whole regardless. And that person bringing you down is not making you whole. It's making you weak. So,
I feel like guys can be really good at bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Because I'll give myself an example. I'm dating you. I know how I feel about you, and you're acting like you don't know how you feel about me.
Yeah,
that's bullshit. You know how you feel about me.
Yeah.
Don't come here and start telling me all this zaggedy zuzu stuff. Nigga, you know how you feel. Don't even pretend. Just say it. Be a man and say it with your chest. I'm just tired of guys doing this bullshit. So yeah.
I think guys have commitment.
I don't think. No, they don't. They don't.
That's true.
Because when they want something, they know how to go and get it.
I'm giving people excuses.
No excuses for these.
Sorry
ass.
I know what. Actually, I feel like I don't want to bait myself too much. But you ever been in those situations, where the guys pursued you, chased you down, and then later on for them to be telling you they got commitment issues, and they're just like, who asked you to come in my life in the first place?
But the thing is, I want to be in a
relationship with you anyways.
Okay, I don't want to bait myself out too much.
Bait yourself, girl.
But I have been talking to somebody for like almost 3 months now, and this person, like every time I've said, oh, let's meet up, it's like he's always got an excuse. He never wants to meet up. But he's always asking me for a picture of myself. Oh, are you out and about? Yeah, can I have a picture? No, like, why? Like, if you want to see me, come and meet me. So it's like things like that. They're red flags. You will always know red flags when you see one.
Yes.
But some guys are sneaky. They bring up the red flags like months later, and you're like, wow, I thought I knew you. But that's just I've watched too many fairy tale movies that has
fairy tales are so toxic.
Fooled me. I've literally gone like, so it's not me meeting the prince. And like, God. Anyway.
The reality is you're going to have to kiss a lot of ugly frogs to get to your prince.
Really don't kiss some frogs, you know. I'm just tired. My lips are chapped and dry. Like, I'm tired. I feel like just not kissing anybody till somebody really, really becomes a prince. I'm like, there you are.
Gosh.
Sorry.
Got him.
Honestly. No, I
haven't got time. I'm tired.
I hear you. But yeah, like, if someone tells you something, hear them the first time. Don't act like you didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Second question. What do you think of a young Christian man who does not want children ever?
You're going to change your opinion when you meet the right woman.
No, he's not. What makes you think that?
I feel like, because I'm literally that girl. I'm like, I don't want kids. My nephews and my nieces are my kids. That's it. That's my gift. I'm playing mum, second mum to my nephews and my nieces. But could I see myself doing that one day for the right person? Hell yeah.
But but when you date people, do you tell them I don't want kids?
I always say to them, it's not in the foreseeable future.
Okay, so it's flexible. But if you date someone and they say outright, I don't want children. I do want children, by the way. I feel like I don't want to manifest negative energy. But if they said they don't want children,
if they don't want kids,
you really like them, but they said they don't want children, what would you do? Basically.
Then it's a no.
I think one thing that's interesting, it started with a Christian guy.
I don't know why she said Christian
because I feel like that changes the narrative. There were men, there were people in the Bible who were actually called not to marry and all that kind of stuff, to just basically do God's mission and not kind of tire a wife, because a wife can distract you as well from his mission. But when the question is, what do you do when you meet a guy who's Christian and doesn't want children? Does he want to date me? Does he want to pursue a family?
Yeah, for dating.
For me, and it's, again, everybody's on their own different pathway when it comes to relationship with God. I just know that God called me to multiply in it. So I don't know. And it's, for me, I would really question, does he think God told him to, does he think God expects me and him to be together? Do you know what I mean? Like, how can I put it? I'm not questioning that person's faith, but like, really, do you think me and you, because we're not trying to go to the same goal together. You know, like I talked about relationships at the beginning, but we have to be on the same pathway. You have to be able to support each other, not only in like career and stuff like that, but family is going to be the anchor. We both believe in God, that's great, that's nice, but do we both have the same ambition to have children and things like that? Because life happens, it might be, God forbid, this won't happen to me, but say if one of us, say if I can't have children, it's still in my heart to have children. We might then have to go through other means, through adoption or other things, but we still have the goal together, we want to have children.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Maybe I think what this person needs to do is establish right from the beginning why this person feels like they don't want to have kids. Like, once you understand why, then it's going to be easier for you to make that decision and be like, okay, I'll still stay with you and, you know, commit and whatever.
It ain't having children, I ain't staying with you.
Yeah, right.
No,
that's the thing.
But if you don't want to have, if you're like, okay, they're not going to change, then I'm just going about my business.
No, this is the thing. Gosh, honestly, Mina, the oopsie get pregnant, you can get pregnant, but you can't force him to love this child. You don't know what's going on in his head for him to say that statement. Not that because you don't want children, you've got something wrong with you, but he doesn't want to do that. I would take it for face value. When the
child looks like me, he will love the child. Yes,
it's
like
too much fairy tales. Look at this.
I expect the child to just be like my
too much Disney
copy.
growing up.
Honestly,
I can have a little girl that looks like me. You can have a little guy that looks like him. You know.
Oh God. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I'll know when I'm dating again, but I feel like you should take people for face value and what they say to you. If he says he doesn't want children, he probably will never want children. And you're throwing a dice on your life if you're going to see what happens.
Yeah. Literally. Believe what they say. When they tell you,
believe them.
It.
They literally told you. Okay, next question.
Cool.
Is it natural, in your opinion, for the woman to be the one to make the first unplanned sexual advance? I think it's amazing when the woman makes the first move. I absolutely love it.
It's probably me every time anyway. So I'm just like, right, you know what? It's today.
But do you know what? If I meet a guy for the first time and like we're dating, we like each other, blah, 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 I wouldn't make the first sexual move just because, I don't know. I don't know why there's a part of my head that just likes to be pursued. But once I'm comfortable with you and we're together, honey...
Let me tell you something, yeah. I'm proper baiting myself. I'm proper
Do it.
putting
Go
myself
for
out
it.
there
Go
today.
for it.
I am the type of girl, if I meet a guy and I like you off the bat, that's it. My mind's made up.
Yeah.
I like you off the bat and we're
it.
doing it. That's it.
I love it.
If I meet you and I'm kind of like, I don't know. Still trying to feel this guy out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to make you wait and I'm not going to make the first move. But if I like you, mate, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I've never actually dated a guy that I liked. It's really weird because I heard on another podcast where they're saying, you know, a lot of girls were saying when they met the guy, they didn't like him. I don't know how to explain it. When I meet a guy, sometimes all my boyfriends, I never like them like face like off the bat.
Yeah.
But when I get to know them and blah, blah, blah over time, then I'm like, yeah, I'm really attracted to this person. But if I met someone who I was physically, seriously attracted to off the bat, I don't know.
But are we talking about a serious relationship or are we talking about like flings? Because if we're talking about flings, it's kind of like if I know I'm physically attracted to you, I'm more open to like make the first sexual move anyway.
That makes sense. Yeah, fair enough.
Could we talk about the first ever sexual move?
Yeah, first.
Because I know I'm not in love with you, I'm not going to care.
Yeah.
So would you do? Okay, fair enough. So would you kiss him? Would you push in to kiss him?
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Own it.
VDE, love it. Okay.
YOLO, we only live once.
You know, make the most of it.
And I'm not really into like, because I never really have much time anyway. So it's like, come on, man.
You're taking your time.
Okay, last question. How can I tell my girlfriend to stop talking to another guy who likes her?
I think this is this is so childish. I hate when, for me, in my mind, relationships are very, very simple. Mm-hmm. Like when you think about when you were younger and your opinion of relationships, like when you saw like your parents and stuff. For me, when I'd see my parents like do silly things like, oh, you know, I don't really like that male friend of yours. And I'm just like, that is so childish. Like, let me tell you something. Relationships is very ABC 1, 2, 3 straightforward. Yeah. You're in a relationship with somebody. You can clearly tell if that person has a friend that is attracted to them.
Yeah.
Now, I'm happy to be like, do you know what? I think Tom might really like you, you know, but more than a friend. I'm just letting you know that I'm not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be happy if you ever put yourself in a position where Tom is able to have you by yourself and make a move on you. Oof. I'm not going to be happy with you.
That's cool.
And you're going to have to go through the consequences of that.
Mm-hmm.
So you've left it there.
Yeah.
And that's done. Now, if she wants to carry on and, Tom came round today for lunch or for a drink, that's not cool. And you're going to reap the consequences of your actions. That's it. It's like, for me, relationships are plain and simple, and that works for the man as well. If I tell you about a girl, you better have it in your mind that I've told you.
Yeah.
If you carry on and something happens, it's a wrap.
Yeah, and also, like, regardless if you think the person likes you or not like you, when you are in a relationship, you do have to be a bit more, how can I put it? You don't put yourself in compromising positions, period.
Yes.
Like, just don't put yourself in compromising positions, because when you say stop talking to someone, I'm not going to be petty and never speak to that person again, but no, that person shouldn't be texting me freely at 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 10 p.m.
At 1 a.m. Hey, how you doing?
If we work together, then by all means, I'm not going to stop that person from talking to me. If we are around similar circles, then it's a simple crush, but they can't have access to me in that way where they can freely talk to me.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously we don't have as much context behind how much are they actually talking, but like, oh my God, I don't like him. I know he likes you, so just chill with it.
Yeah.
It's really simple,
Just
isn't
chill
it?
with it, yeah.
You're right. It does sound, okay, it sounds simple how you're saying it, but I'm thinking about when you're actually in that situation and some stupid bitch has come over and made some ridiculous advance and I'm a jealous lover, so it's like, oh my gosh, I'm boiling. I want to beat her up, but I can't. So it's like you're so angry, and you're probably not gonna. If you're deep in your emotions, you're not gonna deal with it in a mature way. So I definitely would take on what you said, Deborah.
You know your man though. You know if God willing, we won't date any men that will make us feel insecure about that. Obviously,
this is
I'm
true.
probably living in fairy tale land as well, because
if somebody loves you,
but if someone loves you, then hey, I'm like, I don't blame me for fancying him. My man's hot. He's still mine, so.
But some girls can be so disrespectful sometimes.
They
some of these girls move wild.
Too, but
Honestly. But yeah, fair enough. So talk to him in a mature way. Let him know. And then let him know that there are consequences if he does not comply.
And that's that.
Fair enough. All right, so this is Scratch Out, where we kind of let our anger and aggression out about things that have happened. So, Mina, what's your Scratch Out?
Mine's really boring today.
Why? What happened?
Oh, it's just Apple iPhones. They irritate me. They stop working the moment you're due an upgrade, and it's tiring because I'm not upgrading.
Really?
They still work for you.
This model?
Not that model,
okay.
my actual phone. That phone, yeah. It's just...
They're so sneaky, Apple.
They're so sneaky. It's like, I don't want to buy a new iPhone.
That's why I just love my Samsung and I stick to it.
Oh, wait, no, we iPhone people here.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry, girl.
Apple darling.
Samsung all day.
We don't know about the Android
Get your Android out of here.
Just because I'm dissing Apple don't mean you can come over here with your Samsung.
You know, it's funny.
Understand, okay?
All my Android lovers stick together.
You can't sit with us.
Sorry, you can't sit with us. Sorry. Oh, my bad. I didn't know if I was dissing Apple in front of an Android user.
I know. I thought we were all family here.
My bad. I've learned. I'm so sorry. Sorry, that's not my Scratch Out. Joking, but yeah, that's it.
I hear that. My Scratch Out is actually... So I went to a gallery. Let me just not say which one, even though it's obvious.
Did you not talk about it already?
I don't want to quote me for the future. I might do something there. But okay. So I went with my cousin. So I was dressed really nice. It was the day I came to your birthday thing.
Oh, you were really nice.
I looked really glamorous. I looked rich. I like to dress rich on the weekends.
Oh yeah, girl.
And then I was with my cousin. He was just dressed cool, like normal, like casual dressing. He's really tall, black guy. And we go into the gallery. I walk past, not a problem. He's coming, the security's asking him what he's doing here.
What are you doing here?
Basically.
The gallery.
Like, asking him just like questioning him as he's entering. And I was like, we're just browsing. And he was like, oh, okay. I just thought...
Why?
And I spoke to him. I was like, does this happen to you? Because me and him don't even meet up often. Like, we just started like going out now. And I was like, does this happen to you often? And he was like, yeah, it happens a lot. I was like, that is horrible. Like, everywhere you go, constantly being profiled and like checked. Like, you can't just live your life.
Yeah.
And you don't realise how much like female privilege we have as black women, that we don't get checked.
I've had it before.
We do, but not the way they do. Like, literally everywhere they go, someone's always saying something. That would really upset me.
I really feel sad by this story because the next generation of my family are all now boys. My sister, my cousins have all given birth to boys. And knowing that these cute little black boys, you know, that are running around, that people are like, oh, they're so cute, are going to grow up one day and be fully grown black men who are going to be treated like this.
They become men earlier than other race as well. They'll suddenly they're men at 12. Whenever there's an issue or press like that, they go black boy, like they go black man, something like that, and it's just like, no, that's a boy actually. But the type of way they word it in press and things like that, they age them quicker. And they don't present them as young boys because they are young boys. And that's one that really hurts me the most as well.
Really sad.
Yeah, because they're not allowed to be young boys at times. Obviously, your cousin's an older man, but yeah, just to add on to that.
It was just sad. It was just so weird. Because I just walked in thinking, no one's going to talk to me. I know that for a fact. And it was just weird how...
Because it's a free gallery, right?
It's a free gallery. There's no issue.
Here?
I was just thinking, is there a problem? What is the problem? It was so weird. That really pissed me off. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
People have authority complex as well.
It's well weird. So yeah, do better. Okay, so I believe that is the end of episode 13 of the Blank Canvas podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please do join in the conversation using the hashtag the Blank Canvas Pod, and we are also on Instagram and we are at the Blank Canvas Pod.
Whoop whoop.
Deborah, how can people reach you?
Instagram, Black Girls in Fashion, and Facebook, and that's it. Or just email me, blackgirlsinfashion@gmail.com.
Wonderful. So thank you guys so much for listening. And the next episode will be out on the 14th of May as we are bi-weekly. Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.